Hey guys, how you doing? So totally unscripted, driving home from my day job, and I got some time and figured I would go over some things that I've been meaning to do and haven't had the opportunity or time to do so. And one of those things was to kind of explain what's been going on with me and why I hadn't made any more videos in a while. And it's kind of a long story. Well, I've got time, so I figured I'd go over it. So ride along with me and we'll get through this. So a while ago, the last video I made was on hotshot trucking, and I was doing that for a little while, and this really shows you one life lesson that can happen over the course of a weekend and change all the plans that you have to do anything you're trying to do with your life. So I had a truck, trailer, everything, getting everything together, doing everything, got my DOT, got all the other stuff done, making some videos, getting everything ready, and did some deliveries, got signed up on all the load boards, got everything done, paid the ungodly amount of insurance that you have to pay to do that job. And then one weekend, I wake up on, I think it was a Wednesday, and I found out that my stepson had a motorcycle accident and cracked his head open pretty bad. Now, we're well past that event now, and he's fine physically, mentally, financially he's not, but that's a different story, and that's just due to the accident. He's a good kid, glad he's okay, but we had to drive down to see him because he lives about 100 miles away from us, which is really no problem. So we drove down to the hospital, spent the whole day in the hospital, drove back home, got home late, didn't get to sleep until really late because I had a lot of things I had to take care of that day. By really late, I mean like 3 o'clock in the morning. And the next day was Sunday because we went down on Saturday to see him. And I get a call at like 5 o'clock in the morning from my mother telling me she doesn't feel right and she probably wants to talk about going to the hospital. And my mother never wants to go to the hospital, so for her to say she wants to go, something's really wrong. So Sunday, spent the whole day at the hospital. Turns out my mother had what could easily be explained as a heart attack, and it was basically deprivation of oxygen over an amount of time, which affected her mental state to a degree, and still kind of is. But that put me in a precarious situation. I now have one relative that's in a hospital 100 miles away. I have another relative that is in a hospital here, who I'm the only person that can do anything for her. So during the week, I had to go to the hospital every day and take care of my mother. And the long-term care from that after, the surgeries and all the other things and the procedures they did, I pretty much lost everything I had for the hotshot trucking thing. There's no way I could maintain it. I was too soon in my adventure in there to do that, to take that kind of a hit, which I'm okay with. I mean, life happens, you get past it, but it was not sustainable. There's nothing I could do about it. And then after my mother got out of the hospital, it turns out that I can't be that far away on a regular basis because she needs somebody to be nearby. I'm okay with that too. But that means I can't do long distance deliveries. I can't be gone overnight. I'm pretty much restricted to what I can do during the day in a 100 to 200 mile radius because I need to be able to be back in a very quick amount of time in case something happens. Nothing wrong with that. You got to do what you got to do. Parents are important. I get it. So I got a truck now, a very large truck, very long bed, very hard to store. Some other things. ended up selling most of the stuff off. What I ended up doing was, because obviously you got to have some kind of income other than a day job in some cases, especially when you're covering some large expenses like that. So tried delivering for DoorDash, and that didn't work out so well. It was way worse than it used to be. The area I live in is notorious for not tipping at all. So I would work 4 hours and make $20. 90% of the deliveries didn't have a tip attached to it at all. Looked into some of the other delivery apps like Roadie and things like that, and I've been doing some of those, and those have been working out pretty well. And I'll make some other videos about that. But the thing that I've been doing mostly that's been keeping me busy is lawn care. So I've got some things that I want to discuss with that I've learned that may help you out. One of the things that I had to do was I had to create a new DBA for my LLC to branch off into a new line of business. So we did that, and now I'm doing vending and lawn care and other things of that nature. One of the things that burned me was, since I had a DOT number, it's very difficult for me to get business insurance. Very few people wanted to touch me. So I'll outline that history and story at a later point. But when I stopped doing hotshot delivery, I called a couple of companies to do some business insurance, just general business insurance instead of transportation and liability for cargo. And a lot of them told me, they said, since I have a DOT number, they don't want to touch me. And even though I told them that I was retired and I wasn't doing it anymore, and actually my DOT number was deactivated, they didn't want to have anything to do with me. So I had to find a very different company to handle my insurance, and it took a lot of searching. So if you ever get in this situation, you're going to have to do some digging in some cases, because a lot of companies don't want to cover you if you had a DOT number. And I think they said it was a year in most cases, and they didn't want to touch me. Some cases it may have been longer, but it was a year in general consensus. But this is completely non-scripted, by the way, obviously, because I'm driving and I just felt like doing this, and I've got time, and most of my commute is pretty boring. My day job, in case you're wondering, I work in IT. I'm a network administrator and systems coordinator. So I design app delivery package systems and things like that, manage Active Directory, set up boot servers, and things of that nature, do policy work, stuff like that. It's something I've been doing. God, I've been in IT 1983, so I've been doing this a long time. And really, when I got into the hotshot trucking, I was just really looking for something different, and that was my motivation for it, to just not have to do the same thing I do every single day. And working in IT, there's a lot of real commitments on my time that are more demanding than most people would consider to be viable. I know the schools and whatnot that advertise IT classes and things say, "Oh yeah, it's an easy job. It's fun. It's simple. It's great. You'll love it." I gotta say, I love the job because I love the daily challenges and whatnot. Because 9/10 of my day is like a massive Rubik's cube that if I don't solve it, stuff doesn't get done. And that gives you a sense of accomplishment and pride for solving problems and curing what ails people, or computers rather, not people. But it comes with the territory that they don't stop working at 5. So there's a lot of days when, especially in other places where I've worked an entire weekend and not gone home. Kind of a point in my life I was not happy about when I was in my 30s. I viewed job security by how much you were working excuse me, to how successful you were. Honestly, the worst way you could look at something, because I ended up working about 80 hours a week, and I was salary, so I didn't get paid for anything over 40 hours. I thought I was doing what was right, and I thought I was building a solid thing for my family. That wasn't the case. You really have to keep a sense of perspective in life and your life and what you're trying to accomplish. There are events in my family's life that I completely missed that I am never going to be able to get back, and I'm going to regret that forever. There's no way I can do anything about that, and I have a lot of guilt for the time that I spent focusing on work over my family. But I really didn't have anybody to tell me any different other than the people who employed me, and the only thing they cared about was that I was doing what I was doing. Because when it comes down to it, I like to think I'm pretty good at what I do. I just probably could have done it less. But the number of days I had to jump in my car at 2 in the morning just to go in and fix some stupid problem. In the grand scheme of things, what did I solve? What did I fix? What did that accomplish for me? And for me, it didn't accomplish anything. Didn't even get paid for it, so there was no compensation. The workplace I was working at the time touted a flexible work schedule, so you had comp time for the time that you would come in after hours, so you could take off during your work day. But I was never even allowed to take a vacation, so I'm not really sure how I was even supposed to be able to take a day off, because even when I did, I still got called in. There's nothing wrong with working with IT, but you're either going to be really junior for a really long time, doing all the crap work nobody wants to do, or you're going to be really senior, and you're going to be doing all the crap work that the junior people can't do. So it works out that way that you're going to get called a lot. I'd say the majority of my relationships with people outside of my workplace were probably ruined by my job. And I didn't have any work-life focus. I didn't even understand what that meant at the time, because that was almost 30 years ago. I don't think anybody really cared. So on the plus side, watching all these people now protesting to get a fair work-life balance makes perfect sense to me. And I completely understand that. You know, when you look at your life and you're older and you realize that, you know, the time you probably should have spent with your kid when they were growing up, you had to leave and go to work, it doesn't help you out. It's never going to pay. Nothing's ever going to pay you enough to miss those events. Doesn't matter what it is. So I won't be doing any more videos on hotshot trucking, because I'm not in that anymore, and I really don't feel I have anything to say about it, because I can't keep up on it. And I can't keep up on trends and whatnot. But I still do have a lot of other things that I'm doing that are maybe interesting that you might want to check out. The lawn care thing's working out pretty good. If you're ever in a tight position and you want to make some money and you don't mind really putting in some work, I'll go through a little plan with you on how you can accomplish that with very little investment, because you probably already have most of the lawn care stuff already, unless you live in a condo, and then you probably don't have anything, and then it becomes a little bit more expensive. But you can still get on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and get some pretty good deals on some things to get you set up. There's some pros and cons of it. The next video I make is probably going to discuss some of the process and some of that whole deal. But today I just kind of wanted to catch everybody up on what was going on, where I was, and what had happened, and why things have been so erratic for me lately. It's just not been, 2023 has not been kind to me. And being honest with you, you really reach some of those points where you just kind of close yourself off to everything. I mean, I have a lot of really good friends I don't talk to anymore, and probably don't have any interest in talking to me ever again, because I got so caught up in the family thing that I kind of lost touch and lost focus with them. And again, true friends always eventually come back. But my whole life got turned upside down. And I gotta say, I'm too old to be embarrassed about that. I mean, when I was younger, I probably would have been crushed and felt bad, said I failed, but I don't think I failed. I think my life changed my circumstances, and that's all it was. But yeah, I'm not 16 or 18 or 20 anymore, so that all means very little to me, failing or succeeding. I just go about and do my thing every day, and that's all I care about. As long as my thing is okay and not hurting anybody and it's doing good for me, that's all that matters. So that's about all I need to say right now. Like I said, I got some other things I want to talk about. A little bit of change in focus for what I've been doing. But just to catch you up, not doing the hotshot trucking anymore. Still doing some delivery stuff that does not require DOT or commercial insurance for cargo liability. I had to drop most of the places that required it. A lot of places cover you though. Like Roadie doesn't care, so you can do that. And those are between $20 and $40. So I used to take some of the bigger loads when I had the bigger truck. This truck is not as big, but it is a compromise. And I'll go over that in a minute because I do need to talk about that. So, been doing that, Roadie, Amazon Flex, all the other stuff. So I've got videos I can make about those. The lawn care thing's my big thing. It's really easy to get set up in. Shouldn't be too hard to go over what you need to do and what you can expect from it. And I'll do that at some point soon. The bigger truck that I had, I actually sold mostly because of the maintenance and their ongoing costs. For what I was going into, I didn't need a Super Duty diesel 8-foot bed super cab truck, because honestly it was just hard to park, and doing the lawn care thing was great, having the 8-foot bed, but the hard part is you get in some of these neighborhoods and where are you going to park? It was just too much truck. So I sold that, bought a Ram, just a 1500. It's functional, does what I need. It's older, it's not new. I can still do deliveries in it, it doesn't care. It's still a truck. Sure, it doesn't have the towing capacity or the cargo capacity of the Super Duty, but I wasn't using that anyway. And what it does lack, which is good, is the maintenance cost of the diesel fuel costs. And I know some of the guys in California are going to think I'm crazy, but with diesel being way more expensive than gas out here, pushing $4 a gallon, it really wasn't viable to be driving that truck around, because what would take me $20 to get to work in my other car would take me up to $40 round trip in the diesel, and that's just not practical. If you have a use for a diesel, it's awesome, but I didn't have a use for a diesel, and I didn't have a use for that diesel. Later, that may change. But right now, not what I need. I needed something smaller to be able to get into these neighborhoods with a covered bed. Got all that covered. A lot of things I can do with this, and I'll show you later. So I got the Ram, I've got lawn care, I've got small package delivery. We're local, and that fulfills all my needs. Anything else is extra. Nothing else really needs to be covered that I can think of in this video, but I'll do some other videos and talk about pros and cons of some of the other things that I've been doing, so I can help you see if it's something you want to get into as well. Very negative on DoorDash, very negative on Uber Eats. Tried those. Uber Eats seemed to be better than DoorDash. DoorDash just seemed terrible. I don't know if it's probably my area, but when you take somebody $60, $70 worth of food and they give you a $0 tip, why are you even doing it? Because it made $3 off of that, and that's to go 20 miles. Just wasn't worth it. So no, definitely got to weigh your pros and cons on that one. If you live in a better area, maybe a great deal for you. It's not for me. So that's it for this video. I'm almost home, but I will make some more, and we'll get you guys caught up to date on what's going on and what the good word is. And I'll see you then. Thanks for sticking around, and really appreciate you guys staying with me and whatnot after all these years. You can check out my other channels, see what's been going on there. Some of them have been a little more active than this one. But anyway, I will make more videos now that I do have a phone mount that I can make them with. So there you go. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.